Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stryftek, and I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. Is it worth your time? On trial today, Outriders Worldslayer. Made by People Can Fly, this is a paid DLC for Outriders. I recently came back to Outriders and I've been enjoying the changes they made to the base game. So much so, I was genuinely excited for this DLC. And while it does double down on all the things that make Outriders a great game with so much potential, it ultimately falls short.
Outrider, the last drop pod should be just up ahead.
Got it. Drop me here and find a site to make camp.
Better move fast, Outrider. Big storm coming.
I'm gonna be slightly vague here for two reasons. One, there isn't much story to talk about. You'll fly through this in 2 hours, probably less. And two, I don't want to spoil what little there is, because it's not all that bad. It's not all that great either, but it's not awful at least. Without missing a beat, the story continues where the previous game left off, but this time we get a deeper look into the planet Enoch and its native inhabitants. So I was enjoying the story and was even looking forward to see what was going to happen when it abruptly ended, and then they shoved me off a cliffhanger. My best guess is they ran out of development time to finish fleshing out what they had, so they quickly wrapped up what they could and left the rest for you to be confused and disappointed. So Tiago got a sweater. And I am at a complete loss as to why we keep panning around in the cutscenes.
He didn't listen. Leads to a new beginning. And the other?
It's jarring and just quite awful. But anyway, overall, the graphics in the game did look great. The new areas all looked great. It was awesome seeing other parts of Enoch. I am going to complain about the sound again. Some abilities are just far too loud. Just listen to this.
Hey, there's someone else here.
No soundtrack was introduced with the DLC either, though I actually thought they did. If you listen here, it sounded like a guitar intro was maybe gonna start, and I was really hyped for some epic music, but no. Okay, this is where the meat and potatoes are. Let's start with the good. Worldslayer doubles down on the core elements that made Outriders fun. The theory craft. This is encompassed in the 3 big changes they made: the mods, the packs tree, and the ascension levels. The ascensions are just minor boosts that add up as you apply points. They let you fine-tune your build and really push the stats that you need. The packs tree is the extension to the class tree. They're separate from the original class tree, but still super impactful, and they will drastically change your playstyle. And just like everything before, you can refund these as often as you want for free. This makes it fun and easy to swap things around and try something new. Finally, the mods. Not only did they add some new crazy ones, they added a 3rd slot. Now you don't get to pick what's there and it's basically random, but having a 3rd mod changes everything. And since you can wear 6 pieces of gear, you get 6 more mods. These systems are the shining star in Outriders and what gives it its potential. They work together so well that it's a ton of fun finding a new piece of armor or a new mod and fitting it into your build. If only they got the rest of the gameplay right. During the campaign, we had some awesome moments, some great set pieces, some new enemy types with some new abilities, and they were all cool to see and fun to learn. There were a few fights that I'd almost call a raid boss. They had mechanics that had to be done, phases that would change, so on and so forth. And I was really hoping this was a slow trickle and soon they'd break down the doors and really let loose. But it never did. We got glimpses of what could be, but that was it. You complete the trials once as part of the main story, credits will roll, and then you'll be back there again. And then you repeat it over and over again, increasing your apocalypse level and getting more loot. And it's always the same, nothing changes. Which, first off, was a big misstep. There was a huge opportunity here to make this randomized. And honestly, after my first run, I thought it was going to be randomized. But it wasn't. It's just the same thing over and over again. But Stryftek, isn't that endgame for all looter games? Well, yeah, sort of. Let me compare it to two I've recently dumped hundreds of hours into, Diablo 2 Resurrected and Path of Exile. Now I know, neither of these are shooters, but they are looter games, and it's the same basic premise. Repeat content ad nauseum, get better gear. So why did I sink so many hours into the other games yet don't want to do the same thing here? Two big reasons. For one, there's nothing to work towards. Diablo 2 and Path of Exile have some super hard uber bosses which drop amazing items, but to fight them you really need to be geared up, and this means a lot of grinding. Outriders doesn't give you that, you just have the same content over and over again with no real goal to work towards. Yes, you are bringing up your apocalypse level, but this just gives you the same gear at higher item levels. There's nothing unique or nothing special to work towards. And the apocalypse levels actually bring me to my second reason. Dual treadmills. Looter games have always been a gear treadmill. You're constantly walking forward, getting gear, readjusting, so on and so forth. But Outriders has a treadmill on top of a treadmill. As the apocalypse level goes up, items begin to drop at a higher item level and monsters get more difficult. So that amazing piece of armor you found that perfectly fits your build is now useless because it's too low a level. And yes, tons of loot is dropping, but for you to be able to get the same stuff with the same stats and the same 3 mods is almost impossible. You'll very likely be settling for something that's close enough. Or you could upgrade that perfect piece of armor, but the amount of resources that it costs is astronomical. But you don't really want to spend those resources because you'll need them at endgame to upgrade your gear anyway. And if you're thinking, don't worry, I'll just get to the final tier and then worry about all of it, it's gonna take you a while. There's 40 of them, and they do make things increasingly more difficult. So you are gonna need a really good build to be able to do it. To do that, you are gonna have to run these 2 treadmills. And this dual treadmill system really robs the game of the fun it had. So, is it worth your time? We're back to where we were when Outriders first released. A game brimming with potential with some incredible systems that just falls short of what it really could be, ultimately making it not worth your time. Maybe in a few months we'll get a Worldslayer New Horizons patch that fixes everything, but I'm losing patience and I'm not sure I would return. My name's been Stryftek and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, by all means, click that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on Is It Worth Your Time?